right, everyone, welcome to the Mask Off Podcast, the show with real conversations and real topics. Today I am joined by our first regular Counterpoint, otherwise known as our good friend Connor, former Marine and cop. Say hello, sir.
Hi, good evening. Yeah, should I do an intro? Or just
Yeah, go ahead. Definitely do the intro.
All right, so my name's Connor. I run a YouTube channel named Counterpoints. Some of you will be familiar with me for, just jumping on Twitch panel debates and all that kind of stuff. That's where I think Eris and I have made our acquaintances, but I'm super happy to be hanging out with everybody tonight. So, yeah, that's pretty much, I identify as center-right, so lefty on some issues, and then definitely right-wing on some others. So, that's it.
Next is our special guest star, somebody that I've only recently had the pleasure of meeting, but she is the founder of the Collopian Club on the Discord server and a now recently partnered onto Twitch. Say hello to Aristocracy.
Hello.
Want to give a quick intro for yourself?
I'm Aristocracy. I am a history streamer on Twitch, and I also run Calliopian. And I do regular interviews where I, talk to someone I find super interesting and hear their story. And yeah, that's it.
All right. Next is one of our founders, our producer, our friend. There's so much I could say about this wonderful person. Say hello, Samantha.
Hello, everyone. I'm Samantha Banana 4 on Twitter, and I have been known for in the past just yelling at everybody in this politics space. I do, in fact, identify as an attack helicopter, and only sometimes. No, I'm a trans woman, a veteran, and just a person who likes to engage in conversation. Here we are.
And of course, last but not least, I am Tiberius D, geopolitical Twitch streamer and just general referee for the Mask Off. We'll see how this one goes. The last episode was very interesting, but as we begin, I believe the topic that was going to be discussed was toxic femininity.
Eris, hold on. Let me remind you. Let me break it down. This is not a debate. You are not trying to prove anything to anybody. We're just bringing up topics and having a discussion about them. There's no formality. There's no, may I interject for a minute, Connor? You like Connor's so used to debate scenes that we'll be having in the middle of it, it's just a casual discussion. Like, well, if I may interject for a second, we're like, Connor, shut the fuck up. This
Listen,
is supposed to be,
I want to make sure everybody can talk, okay? Jeez.
It's fine, but this is a break. Imagine all of us out to, this should be like a fucking 4 friends hanging out at In-N-Out Burger. Treat it like that, okay? No formalities. We're just having a discussion. So, Eris, no fear, no bullshit, just whatever your opinion on it. We're not having a debate. You don't have to prove shit. I don't have to prove
I'm
shit.
Sweating
no
already.
Sources. No, there's no
Just pile
sources.
it on.
I love it. I need to send
This
you
is
the
always
sound.
what they say before they get you.
True.
I need to send you the
Like-
sound for the Metal Gear Solid when the guys get the exclamation bar over the head and they get alerted. So every time your alert goes up, it plays that sound.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I did, for a casual conversation, I did yell at Pisco a lot last week, so that makes sense.
Yeah, you can watch that video on the Mask Off Podcast YouTube channel.
In all fairness, that conversation only was going to go that way.
Yeah.
I regret saying.
Wait, what happened?
I loved it, and I regret filling in for whoever dropped out at the same time because I'm sitting there going like, "Oh, this is gonna be a great conversation. I'm finally gonna have the police reform discussion with Connor that we've been talking about for almost a fucking year now." And then it goes like Pisco's there, so now it's like Connor and Pisco and their entire history of "fuck you, no fuck you," and I'm just caught in the crossfire, going like, "What the fuck?" I hate lawyers even more, and it makes me hate cops even more, and it makes the cop go like, these are lawyers that don't believe that laws deter people from doing bad things. So now you have law enforcement going, you know what, fuck lawyers. So now you're getting like Pisco is an example of cops going, you know what, fuck the system.
Yeah. Eris, that was pretty much a summary of it. It was Pisco came out basically saying that drug laws, everything should be legalized, not even decriminalized, legalized. Like you go to fucking CVS and there's like high quality heroin for people over the age of like 21 or some shit.
Big coke.
And I think it's fair to say I had some objections, and some of those objections got a little vociferous. That's all that. So that's pretty much just a summary of what happened.
For anyone who is listening on the chat, so we do Mask Off Conversations on Friday, where we do largely a Twitch show to kind of give people an alternative to the ridiculous shit that we see on Friday nights on Twitch, and then we actually have the podcast here, which is where we get everybody together, or not everybody, but just record an actual conversation. But it's a little bit of a different thing. Definitely check it out. We have 2 YouTube channels for it, and then we do some edits on my channel and a whole bunch of other stuff. But it was Connor and Pisco was largely 2 Fridays ago. We're having this conversation.
1 second, I want to interject. Connor, you didn't have objections. Your objections, okay? We're like, every time you speak, Pisco, I want to jam a knife into my fucking eyeball. That's not an objection.
Yeah, I was being descriptive. That's just the way that I felt, okay?
Anyway, it's to give this the thing, it was supposed to be like more of a 2-on-2 debate. It was going to be Connor versus kind of Sam as cop versus pro cop, and then it was going to be a Republican immigration lawyer, which is Nate Dallin versus Pisco. It's how it was supposed to set up, but Nate had to cancel on us on the last minute because of issues, and it was largely just Connor and Pisco going at it, and that was just a treat. So yeah,
and me describing how many.
Yeah,
it was them 2 going at it, and me just casually describing how many drugs are in my house at this given moment.
Which was alarming.
Yeah.
So
I do have a lot of, mind you, there's like 3 people in this house that consistently do drugs on a casual basis.
Yeah.
And when I say drugs, I'm saying other than weed. Weed is not a drug.
Samantha, were you around the other night? Like last night? Well, I think it was Saturday night when I did the
double
edible.
dose of edibles, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really sorry about what you experienced for me.
So most people, when they do like lots of alcohol or drugs, like they're annoying as fuck, right? You are like, I think Layman and me both said it to you. Like that was like a perfect Friday night. We're just hanging out with Eris, and you were just like, "Oh, have I told you I love you? Here's a picture of my dog. Here's a picture of me, just because I think you need it. Here's this." And like you just kept sending me.
I don't remember most of that night. I did way too much. I didn't even know that you can have a full hangover from doing too much weed.
It's not a hangover. What it is you're still tired. You can't OD on weed. What happens is you end up just taking a really fucking amazing nap. Whether you want to or not.
It was just too much.
That's a weed overdose.
Yeah, I will not be doing a whole gummy again. Next time, half a gummy.
Eris Cloud Lifted would be a very interesting conversation to see. I'm ashamed I didn't get to see
apparently
that.
I was talking in like a baby voice the whole time.
Oh no, true. Like yeah, Layman just brought it up in chat, but yeah, no, that is totally true. Also in chat, Doobie, I would love to have you on Mask Off, even though you never put on a mask anyway. Fucking frog.
All right, so I'm gonna steer this into the original showpiece part. We were gonna talk about toxic femininity, and I guess for me and Connor, we can definitely talk masculinity on that one, because we had a conversation before Mask Off with the right wing panel about this about 3 weeks ago, which was interesting.
Wasn't that more on the role of men though?
It's to some degree,
It devolved in helping that one dude out because he's like, why don't women like me? Funny guy.
I thought we covered some really good ground. Fuck you, Samantha.
I thought
I think we also like gave him a good like Mask Off. Here we go. Like I told that kid, like start with fucking Jordan Peterson. Start there, and then move on to other things. Start with 12 rules, and then maybe go into some Jocko Willink, and then maybe just grow a fucking pair.
Wake up at 5 a.m. Put a rock in your
dog fucking died. Your dog fucking died today. Good. Use that. Learn from that. Use that to crush the day.
Dude,
grab the day by the penis and squeeze the ejaculate out on the other fucking days because you need that shit.
I hate that shit so much. Like so that like
when we were in Ramadi, I used to fucking like.
All right. Hold on. So, all right. So for those of you who are unaware, Jocko Willink is like a former Navy SEAL. He ran like the SWAT in like the city of Ramadi during like 03-04. He's actually like a very hardcore guy. Yeah, and he does like business consultation, and he's a pretty hardcore and interesting guy. But this is the thing. So Samantha was saying that she has a couple of like rods in her back or whatever, and I have like fucked up shit with my neck and my back. Waking up at 5 a.m, throwing a rock in my shoe, and then deadlifting 400 pounds is not an option. Okay, so I
think I talked to him. I think I specifically said, no. When you read Jocko and this stuff, we're not expecting you to get up at 4:30 in the morning and post a photo to your Instagram every day at 4:30 of your pile of sweat next to a fucking dumbbell, a barbell, or a fucking where you did 9,000 sit-ups. We're not expecting that. Just take the whole shit's gonna be shitty. Fucking learn from it and drive the fuck on. Stop being a pussy.
Right. Yeah. So.
Pussy.
Pretty.
All right.
Yeah.
So
pretty much.
let's get into this because I'll kind of start at least from the male perspective, because when we talked about the role of men, we talked about the difference between like a positive masculinity and a negative masculinity. And one of the things that people got a little upset with me for is that when it comes to a lot of things that boil into like what is I would consider toxic, it largely is stuff that I would separate out, that I could separate out between men and women. Is that most of the toxic masculine shit is oh, you gotta be a man, you gotta be tough, you gotta be, you know, it's just the whole roid rage shit that just drives me absolutely batshit about a lot of men. Is just, it's being strong for the purpose of being strong, and it has no discipline, it has no grounding, and that to me gets toxic really, really quickly. But then when we talk about like what are the positive attributes, I just kind of sit there, I'm like, well, this could go for men or women, you know, just being a good family member, being caring and loving and participating in your community, and all these whatever wonderful things, which I think we need to harp on a little more.
Being courageous. That's the number one positive masculine trait. I like when I think of a positive masculine trait, it's courage. That's not to say that everyone can't be courageous, just like it's stereotypically a masculine trait.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing I don't get, because I know so many women that are more courageous than men, and it's one of those deals like, you know, for me personally, I don't know why that needs to be a masculine thing, because
it's because there's historical associations, okay, and like, so for instance, like I think you're right. I think as a culture we need to move past like this like gender essentialism when it comes to like certain moral attributes. And I think that's positive, but also like the courage it takes to all right, so I'm gonna be gender essentialist or whatever, but pregnancy is fucking terrifying. Okay, it's fucking terrifying. You're growing a human being inside your body. There's a chance that it could kill the human being that you're growing. There's a chance it could kill you. Pregnancy is very intensive physically. It's a hardcore fucking experience. Seeing my wife go through that is a hardcore fucking experience. So the bravery that you need to take on something that emotionally, mentally, physically arduous is different than like winning a fucking fist fight with like a fucking rock. Okay, it's like different. Now, as society is moving away from needing to hit people over the head with rocks, we should probably like talk about different forms of bravery that are not like classic militaristic stuff. And I think a lot of guys too in modern society, if they're not involved in security services, they don't necessarily identify with the militaristic bravery either. Like but it also there's a certain level of bravery just for the day to day. Life is terrifying, life is hard, losing parents, losing family members, losing pets, all of that sucks ass. So waking up every single day and saying like, hey, I'm gonna put my best foot forward, and I know things are gonna suck and I'm scared that things are gonna suck, but I'm gonna do my best. That is a certain level of bravery. Being scared but performing the way that you need to anyways despite being scared, that's bravery. So. Okay,
well, I'll push back, I guess, and because I actually agreed with most of what you said. It's just society in general, like historically, and I'm not an ancient historian, but to my knowledge, you know, women, right, have historically just been more, their bodies have been more valued in terms of numbers, right, for birthing and all that stuff. And so there's been like, you know, men in general like have been, I guess, it's been useful, especially for in, you know, societies where they were like polygamous and stuff, to have fewer men, and those few men have a lot of power. And so they're willing to sacrifice lots of men in, you know, in war and stuff. And it's not seen as much of a sacrifice as sacrificing the women. And this doesn't mean that they're valuing the men, they're valuing like women over men. It's just the value of women is, you know, on the birthing aspect. So anyways, so the whole thing, I think that the whole like courage aspect and the reason why it's seen as a masculine trait and why it got pushed so much is because it's like very useful in propaganda, you know, like to get, you know, to tell men that you are weak and you are a coward if you don't sign up for war, if you don't go and fight for your country and stuff. And most societies haven't, ever since humans started fighting one another, they've needed male bodies to fight their wars. So that probably connects heavily to it. But I still think even even still, I still think courage is something that's like, yeah, I still think that's a great quality. It obviously shouldn't necessarily be masculine, but I do think it's, society-wise, it's a masculine trait.
Yeah, you brought up a really interesting point there. I've thought about this myself. So a lot of people are isolationist, and by the way, like nothing I'm saying right now is like, I'm not trying to say anything is good here. I just think it's an interesting thought experiment. So a lot of young, violent men who are lost are pushed into the military. Samantha was. So basically, we were told at that age that, hey, you're fucking up. You need to go someplace where discipline is going to beat into you the essential virtues that are positive for society. And you do have to risk your life, but you will come back a better, virtuous, forged person. And what's interesting to me is like, so we've had all these wars, like the global war on terror. We've been at war, I don't know, every other decade for the past like 250 years. So it seems like America is really good at taking its young, angry, pissed off people, shipping them overseas to go fight battles, and then bringing home sometimes functional, sometimes broken human beings. And I'm just wondering what happens when you no longer, like if we were isolationist, what happens to the empire? And two, what happens to all those dispossessed, furious, lost young people when you don't have some war to send them off to forge them into different human beings?
We live on the streets, and then we're forgotten about by the Democrats and the Republicans, and nobody gives a shit.
Well, this is like probably, I disagree with MRAs on like 99% of the shit they say, but the concept of the disposable male, I think is just 100% true. It's something that they sometimes talk about, that they tend to focus much more on how much they hate women. But yeah, the disposable male like theory and stuff is definitely, I think, 100% correct. And yeah, I think that it seems much more rational to be focused on that issue. If you care about like, men's issues and all of that stuff, especially like, I mean, in the West, we're mostly like in somewhat peaceful situations in comparison, but you look at especially how men in, various sub-Saharan African countries are treated, or in North Africa, where even like young boys, the minute they turn like 9-10 years old, they're expected to put a gun in their hands. So, and their life is just considered disposable because they can't give birth. So yeah, it's definitely a problem.
Eris, we're definitely going to have a history chat, because, I mean, there's a lot of examples where we could talk about the various Persian dynasties, or we can talk about, just because it's in history so much, the nobility of Europe, where if you weren't in line for, like, the noble title, right? So if you weren't an earl or if you weren't a prince, you became a knight, and you were largely sent off, to go to war, and you were basically fodder.
What's fascinating about that is that that's that idea of primogeniture, right? Like where like the oldest son inherits everything and all the youngest sons like have to basically fuck off, and they're disposable. That idea is actually fairly new in history. And people think that it's actually old, but it's not. Like, I think it only started to be common around like maybe the 14th, 15th century. And sometimes, like, at least in medieval Europe,
14th, 15th century, so fucking modern.
Hold on a minute. Like,
no, I'm with Eris 100%. That is recent.
Yeah, but actually,
it is,
and there's a rational reason for it. But yeah, but historically, they would actually just divide the lands amongst the sons.
And then what would the sons do?
They go to war,
and then the sons would go to war. Yeah.
Yeah, the big one.
Yes, we've all watched Game of Thrones. We get it.
No, God damn it.
No.
Does that even happen in Game of Thrones? I don't.
Not really.
I don't fucking know that one. No, but yes.
Real talk. What happened in history, and I think it's a little older than what Eris is saying, but we'd have to have a good conversation with that. Is that primogeniture rises out particularly after Charlemagne, or not Charlemagne, but his kid. What I think.
Oh shit! No, Game of Thrones is where they fuck their siblings, not fight them.
Shut up, Samantha. No, Charlemagne's kid had 3 heirs, and the Great Frankish Empire, which was crowned the Holy Roman Empire, got split into 3, and it literally went to war the next day whenever his kid died. And it was one of those, it was a strong, stable kingdom. Charlemagne is Charlemagne for that reason. And it all went to shit because of that system. And so primogeniture took over over the next 200 years. So it's, for me, at least from the history that I know, it's largely like 1,000 years old. But, you know,
but
it's a relic.
Well, it's very old. I just wouldn't say that it was like, it became incredibly common in Europe.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about this is you could do an analysis, because this is one of the things that's like really frustrating for me when people start talking about like power and conflict and all that kind of stuff. I am unaware of any society that basically said like, we're not going to participate in balance of power politics, and we're not completely destroyed by another society that was more powerful. I'm completely unaware of a pacifist society that continued to exist for long periods of time. So then it becomes a question of like, okay, well, we need to come up with a utilitarian calculus for how power is wielded, so the least amount of people are hurt and the most amount of people are helped. And that's actually
and that's why they forged the 9 rings for mortal men.
Oh my God! Come on, Samantha, you're fucking distracted. So, but the actual point being that like, if you're individually a knight who's being sent off to war, or if you're an angry 17-year-old douchebag who nobody can tell anything, and you just want to smoke pot and chase girls and be an asshole, then like individually it can be fucked up that you get sent off to war, because you can get fucking killed, you kill other people, you have permanent emotional, mental, physical damage. You know, you can't turn your neck because you get fucked up physically. But at the same time, from utilitarian calculus, instead of me being like on the streets, being a fucking shitbag, being a banger, robbing people, fighting people, whatever, I basically got the shit kicked out of me, came back, know how to be a citizen, civilian, less likely to hurt anybody in my own country, because I was, you know, basically got the shit kicked out of me. So
yeah, by the way, I just checked, primogeniture becomes common in Europe around, I think, the late 14th century, but it starts in England in the 11th century, a little earlier.
Interesting.
I can actually agree with what Connor said, where I think I would probably be in a prison cell serving life, if not multiple life terms, for dumb shit, if I hadn't, like, the army was, I think, the one thing that turned my life around. I think that experience, not like the war and everything, but I think the environment, the people, the learning to fucking socialize, whether you like it or not, it doesn't matter. Like, if you're a racist, like, you're not going to do well in the military, because if you're a racist in the military, they're going to throw you in they will specifically make a squad to throw you in that has nothing but the people that you don't like, and they're going to make you the one fucking outlier in there, just to get you the fuck over it, or have them all beat your ass until you just stop fucking saying shit out loud.
Well, yeah, that being said, like, when you're talking, I mean, feminists in general tend to focus a lot on toxic masculinity, right? But I feel like, and maybe this is just my bias as someone who learns better through like a more positive affirmation kind of style, but I think it would just be much more rational to focus on focus on positive masculine traits, and things that like we can all kind of learn from. I don't know, there's some like old tradition, and it sounds like old traditional stuff, like when I say something like courage, right, or discipline, everyone thinks, oh, you sound like a conservative, yes. Right? When these are just known, like, I mean, those are just great qualities for anyone. And
yes,
I
and
wish
if
we
you
exemplified them
agree
more,
or
because they
disagree.
also lead to people being very happy.
No, the discipline and the fucking courage and everything, these are like the base principles. I mean, like, literally, this book right here is the greatest book I've probably ever read in the past 5 years. It's called Discipline Equals Fucking Freedom, by Jocko Willink. But like, that's why
discipline makes you very happy. It's true.
No, that's why I encourage people to read, like, when they're having these struggles and everything. That's why I say, go fucking read some Jordan Peterson, buy the fucking audiobook, go get some Jocko Willink, just learn discipline, learn these basic fucking skills. They are skills.
Well, you know, it's funny that you say, I mean, let's not get into Jordan Peterson, but
no, like, I have no problem getting into Jordan
I got in
Peterson.
a lot of trouble.
Fuck it, I'll say it. This is Mascot. Hey, I unironically think Jordan Peterson's books are very helpful to people in modern society that have become complacent, lost, don't have any fucking direction, don't have like a fucking moral compass. Like, fuck the moral compass, right? Just have a compass to do the basic fucking things
his
in life
advice is not
that
that
make you a
radical.
decent fucking human being. Exactly.
Just, it's a little old-fashioned, right? I guess that could be said, but you could still be very much like, if someone's who's a leftist or something, you could still have those ideals and still have
Exactly.
like that old-fashioned idea. I mean, I've been thinking about getting into streaming for, I don't know, like 6 years or something. And what suddenly made it happen was I got a planner, which, like, Samantha, you know about. I went and bought this, like,
planners. You and me, girl.
super like girl bossy style feminist kind of like planner it came with stickers that literally said CEO and start a fempire. Right? Like, I went
and got a bunch of stickers off of Etsy from different things. They say like, fuck off, this day sucks, fuck you, get this done, quit being a pussy, like all that shit.
Right? I made a vision board and shit.
I did too.
It fucking worked. Like, people make fun of me all the fucking time. And that's actually a feminine way of being disciplined, right?
And it's something you have to develop.
The whole
it's a
structure
skill.
of the planner was all about discipline.
And like, mind you, these aren't things that you just like up in one day fucking have it perfect. These are like, I'm going to call them skills, like life skills. These are things you have to learn, hone, and develop, and consistent. Just like juggling, just like riding a fucking bike. You have to learn. Like, at the beginning, I'll just use the planner thing. Like, your planner is going to look like fucking dick. You're not going to know what the fuck to write in there. Like, do I put the appointment that I have for dick in there, or like, what do you put in your fucking planner? And then over time you go like, okay, these are not important things that I'm always going to remember, so I don't have to put it in there. This is what my planner should be for. This is the layout that works. It's a skill. And that goes in like the same thing with like working out, with food, with like discipline applies to so many facets of life. The people that don't have discipline are the people that are lost, fucking broken, and fucking sad. No, I'm not talking about depression. No, I'm not saying if you're depressed, you just get some fucking discipline and it'll all go away. I'm saying like that. Yeah, go touch some fucking grass, pussy. I'm just kidding. But like, discipline and all these things are they cross genders. They cross fucking all spectrums of society. Be like, male, female, man, woman, fucking autistic, neurotypical, fucking gay, straight, bi. Like, all these things will help you in life no matter what the fuck you are.
Can I tell you guys my favorite fucking Vosh highlights moment?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
I've got a discipline comment I want to give, but go ahead.
Vosh? Yeah. So no, I will never disrespect his name. All right. So Vosh, my favorite Vosh highlights fucking moment is he goes to war with chat for like 25 minutes because he's basically telling them that like self-discipline is a positive trait that everybody should like, basically internalize. And there's people like in his fucking chat who are like, nah, this is a bunch of Jordan Peterson fucking fashy fucking virtue bullshit. This is a bunch of bootstrap. And he's like, no, fuck you. Like, you need self-discipline. You need to be organized. You need to go after your shit. You need to do this. You need to do that. And it's just really funny because like, I think it's hard. I don't want to say it's hard, but I think a lot of lefties have difficulty calling out their own audiences when like something is obviously true. And sometimes there's this pressure to go along. Yeah, there's this pressure to go along with like what a 15-year-old says when they're like, homework is fucking oppression.
A great example of like, for any lefty that may be watching or listening, right? If you want a great example of lefty fucking discipline, and like, yeah, this is going to be yikesy, but like when you break it down and think about it, it is like Antifa, Black Bloc. They have the discipline, everything blacked out clothing, shields, like they have the discipline to bring these things out there, remember these things, do these things, wear these things. That's a form of discipline. In the military, like my form of discipline,
revolutions took a lot of fucking discipline too.
They do, like in the military, just like communist revolutions, or the Zapatistas, right?
You're doing a very good job of convincing me the left does not need discipline.
Shut the fuck up. This is a non-partisan fucking podcast, you dipshit.
I didn't say it wasn't partisan.
Sit down.
No.
Dick.
I will not.
No,
Look who's
I will
talking.
not, sir. I'm reclaiming my time. I
don't care.
I'm just kidding.
No,
Go back to the
there's
trouble.
all right. So like I
This
might
one's
actually.
good though. No, but like, yeah, they have a uniform. They show up in that uniform. They get their shit done. They have their milk for the tear gas or their water cannons or now they're using fucking golf clubs, which I think is fucking hilarious. Like, I don't care if you're a cop lover or an Antifa lover or like a counter-revolutionary or a revolutionary. Fucking yeeting gas canisters back in the cops like by yelling "for Happy Gilmore" style is the fucking most based, funniest shit I can think of.
I'm not even mad.
I do
I'm
not
impressed.
I do not condone.
Right? Like, I could just picture like
Did you, like,
1996 Adam Sandler out there.
Yeah,
Like,
you pull the comedian from fucking what is it, The Watchmen or whatever. You fucking like yeet somebody with a fucking tear gas canister, and then their fucking friend like shows up and fucking goes, duck, and like it fucking flies into your face. You're like, ah.
All right, anybody in Antifa or Black Bloc listening, this is what I need from the next protest, right? You all need to get Anaheim Ducks jerseys. You all need to get rollerblades. And you need to do the fucking flying V duck maneuver with the slap shot right into the fucking cops with that gas canister.
You need to stop.
Please, if I don't get this picture before I die, I will not die happy. Emilio Estevez would be proud.
We get taken down by the Nazis, I tell you.
Fuck Nazis.
Anyway, no, I want to talk a little bit about discipline because this is actually one of the ones that I've had a lot of trouble dealing with in my life. I've always been like anti-authoritative. I don't like anyone telling me what to do. I'm going to do what I want. And then, of course, that always kind of fell into, because I didn't really have that disciplinary structure, or I would always like avoid it at all costs, is that I'm not the type to really sit there and just dig into something. I mean, that's really something that I've only developed in the last little while, and it's still not nearly as strong as other people's. And I always kind of like to paraphrase it as I'm literally a wind nature. I'm not the type to sit there and just hang in like a rock and take it. I'm the type to be like, all right, I'm not coming at this with enough force, so let me like recharge, come back as a hurricane, and just blow the fucker down. Like, that is like kind of my MO, is that I'll try something, I'll hang with it for a quick minute, and then if it doesn't kind of go the way I want to, I'll take a break, I'll stop, and I'll readdress, and then I'll hit it harder. That's generally
that's a good way to go. I just had that recently with like the dip in the mining thing, and then I said, fuck it, let's go harder. So there is you don't even want to know, but that is 8 2080s that I just put together. I got to get that actually going. But like, yeah, no, like getting back up and going at it harder is a fucking great value to have, Tiberius, and fucking props to you for that.
Well, I appreciate it. And it's not thanks. No, it's like I'm getting close. I'm about 2 months away from 3 years of online content, and it's taken like so many different turns. It was the conversation, then it was geopolitics, and now it's this, and you know, it's taken so many turns, and I'm glad that I keep coming back after it, but there's a few things I'm kind of wondering, like, if I just had some grit and determination to stick with certain things, like how much more success could I had? Now, I'll say, killing the conversation a couple months ago when I ordered 66 to everybody, I needed it. I was mentally breaking the fuck down. I was literally mad after a debate for a week. But on the other side of that, it was like, you know, it was very rewarding financially to me that, you know, I was pulling, you know, 40% more than I am now, which is, you know, we're going to have to build back up, but it's also, where would I be at if I had actually stuck through it? I mean, I
think sticking through things are really important.
Yeah, I think that's a better
I don't
way.
know what your content was beforehand. It's always good to experiment, right? Like, that's always a good idea. But I think one of the reasons why like Calliopean Club was successful was because like it was just a long grind, and everyone else would make and people would make competing servers. Sometimes they'd have a server that had a better idea or something like that, and we would just like, and sometimes CC was going in a direction that I was like, oh, this is feeling bad. Like, I'm not happy with where the server is right now. There were points where I hated my own server so much, I would not hang out in my server because I was just not happy with the community I'd created. But I have this sign like that is literally above my desk right now that I stole from the Facebook offices, which is like a whole other story. And it said, done is better than perfect. And it's really important for me because I'm a huge perfectionist, and the moment where I started actually like succeeding in life, because I actually like I used to do really badly in school. Like I was originally a high school dropout. And so the moment I started succeeding in life was when I got rid of that idea of everything I need to put out there needs to be the ideal, the dream. I need to, that it's just better to just get it done. And that like done is still better than the idea of perfection. And it seems really obvious, but for me, I really needed to hear that shit. So like I just kept going at it. So even when CC sucked, even when it was going through months where it was in like dip periods and stuff, I never quit the server. I never stopped. And most people with Discord servers, I don't know, it probably applies to content creation too. Like most people stop doing it when it's going badly. And yeah, so I think like just sticking through and that kind of like discipline is on average going to work, right? Probably not for everyone, but I definitely feel like it contributed to CC's success and stuff.
Speaking of segues to Discord servers, hey, if you like this content and everybody on here and want to engage with us more, you can join the official Twitch Politics Discord, link in chat now.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, dude, I got 3 things on that. So done is better than perfect is a really great quote that I'm gonna fucking internalize, because I've actually bumped into 2 other quotes that I feel are tangentially related. So one of them is gear acquisition syndrome. This is something that a lot of content creators talk about, and it's basically believing that like, I can't start my podcast, I can't start my YouTube, I can't start writing, I can't start this creative project until I have the right equipment. So instead of focusing on like the project and the productive things that you could do right now in order to forward your vision, instead you're like, I can't do anything until I have this perfect camera. I can't do anything until I have this perfect sound setup. I can't do anything until I have this perfect lighting setup. And what ends up happening is you delay your creative outlets by years, because you have this constant excuse of, I can't do the thing that I want to do until I have this $500 to $1,000 piece of equipment, and I can't afford that piece of equipment until I do ABC. And so what ends up happening is people's dreams are totally deferred, decades. Sometimes they'll use this as an excuse to just never do the thing that they want to pursue. And I think with marijuana in particular, big fan of marijuana, but oftentimes your visions can be more beautiful than reality, and then you have this like perfect near like religious vision for your creative project, and then when you bump into mundane reality, you're like, ew, gross, like get away from my vision, like I don't even want you to touch my vision. And the other quote that I think is kind of related is, a shitty plan now executed aggressively is better than a perfect plan delayed. This is something that was told to me in the Marine Corps, which is
military fuck.
Yeah, so it's basically like, if you have like a dicked up plan, but the enemy is on the fucking back foot and they got fucking shitty momentum, and you execute your shitty dicked up plan, but they're not fucking ready for it, you're gonna do better than if you sit around for the next 3 hours and you're like, let's get this here, let's get this here, let's do this, let's do that. Like, no, fucking, you gotta fucking make moves. And all of this is to say, if you're somebody who's listening to this and you're a creative or like an aspirationally creative person, there are a lot of things that I have learned within the past 2 months, within the past 6 months, within the past year. I've learned more by doing than I have by research.
Yeah, it's just a human quality.
Yeah, so you kind of just have to throw yourself in the fucking deep end and sink or swim and not be discouraged by drowning.
Yeah, so every second you're not doing what you want to be doing, you're losing potential. Like every day is like a classroom, right? It sounds corny, but you're losing potential things you could be learning right then. So like even when I started my stream, like I've been doing this for like a month and a half now, and like I think my first few streams, like they were pretty shitty. Like I'm not really happy with them or anything. But if I hadn't done those streams, I wouldn't have been able to improve them or learn from them, because there's only so much preparing you can do until you actually like act on it.
Well, I mean, if you want to re-interview me, that's fine. But also, like,
wait, what are you saying? Are you saying that was a bad interview? Like, what?
I was about to say, I'm pretty sure. I haven't watched it yet, and all of the reviews on fucking Twitter was like, this was one of the coolest fucking conversations ever.
Wait,
yeah,
on my interview?
Pretty sure, yeah. I'm pretty sure everybody's been giving Eris like rave reviews on the
Eris
interviews.
is great. Oh no, I was just
please
making
go
a
on
joke
about this for another 10 minutes.
I was just making a joke at how you were saying your first ones were shitty, and that was one of your first ones. I was like, damn.
No, you weren't. No, that was like, I think that was in my second or third week.
Based.
And I don't consider that.
But another thing, if you're like, don't forget to utilize your friends. Your friends are there for you. They are a wealth of information that you don't have.
Use your friends. Use them.
No, not use them like that. But like, if they're offering information, like Connor, for the past God knows how many months, the microphone issues. Literally, I'm like, hey, open up your Discord, stream your screen. I tell them to make one couple changes, get it going, and now no issues. Your friends are there to help you. If they offer help, listen. I mean, Eris, you had a lot of people in the Discord community to help you out. You had a lot of people in the Twitch community to help you out.
I use people all the time.
You don't use them, but like, no, not like that. You know what I'm trying to say, you facetious butthead. Yeah, and Tiberius is doing the same thing. He had a bunch of friends be able to help him out with tips that we've learned or that we know from past regarding certain things like audio quality of this. If you have the ability to do that, Tiberius has been doing this a long time, and he's great at it. So there's things he should have changed, and he wants to go a certain direction, and he made these changes. He got through, got his head straight. He got things. Now he's going on stronger than ever. He's not running and hiding. He's going at it fucking face first, fists out, ready to fucking kill anything in his way. and that's good. Like, stomp that shit and make your room, make your space. Eris is doing shit nobody else in Twitch Politics is fucking doing. That's amazing. Tiberius, you're doing the nerd shit.
And Connor is also here.
Connor, oh my god, I watched some of your videos for the first time, Connor.
Wow.
I don't watch a lot of you. I don't watch a lot of YouTube, especially not stuff like that. I'm always like constantly learning. So my YouTube stuff that's in my channels are like taking apart cars. That's my big hobby is. Like, I have a problem with fucking race projects that are way too overpriced. Shout out Audi. But like, no, I watched some of Connor's videos and oh my god, I loved them. The breakdowns of Full Metal Jacket were great. The breakdown of the Warhammer, the trailer for that, just great. And Connor doing the YouTube thing, he's not a Twitch person, does great and brings that knowledge he has from the YouTube world into what he does on Twitch. So all these people like sitting there saying like, oh, just try it, like have a shitty thing, do this, do whatever, like, you have so many people that are willing to help you out do these things. Reach out to friends. Don't try to go it alone. If you're stuck, struggling, use Google some shit, DuckDuckGo some shit, talk to a friend. Somebody knows something. Start utilizing the tools that are at your fingertips or at the other end of your Discord call. So, and also somebody wanted a trans rights in the chat. So yeah, trans rights. You don't like trans rights, you can go get fucked.
All right, so I've got two things here. To finish out my thoughts on discipline is that I'm not going to get to a point in my life, I think, where I'm actually going to regret like the way that I went, because I definitely have given like numerous things different tries. The thing that I kind of wonder is the way that I approach things when I just say to 86 stuff or, just order 66 stuff is like basically clean house. Like, I don't have any of my former YouTube stuff that's older than like 3 months. And that's not horribly a bad thing, but there's some good content there that could have been stuck around. And if I had a little bit more discipline to be like, all right, you're in that point that sucks and you need to punch through it in a different way, or you need to just eat it for a quick minute. That's one of those things where I kind of second guess myself. And I'm not going to say it's unhealthy, right? Like you should always kind of like wonder if you're doing the right thing. But on the other hand is that I do ask myself, what if, and that's the worst question to ever ask.
Yeah. So I want to back you up though, and I want to back up your instincts a little bit. So I think that these conversations are incredibly nuanced. So I'm not trying to inverse everything that we've just said about like, hey, you need to get started. Hey, you need to learn from your people. Hey, you need to be okay with delegating.
Still want to hit that.
Yeah, I need to literally assign 2 admins to my YouTube channel in the next like hour. But basically, like, it's tough. And the nuance of this is that if you're not, I actually appreciate Era saying that like CC would not have been what she wanted it to be if she hadn't continued to push even through the ugly moments. I think there's something to be said for having like a vision of what you want and then pushing towards that goal and just chipping away at it like one step at a time. And even if you go 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, don't just, stop walking in that direction, walk in that direction. But I also think there's something to be said for realizing that you're on the wrong path, and you've basically you're not even going in the direction or creating the vision that you want to. And I think there's something to be said too. So I've talked to some other creative people, I won't name drop, but they basically said that like they were stuck creating content that they hated for years. And as a result, they not only did they hate the work that they were doing, they hated themselves a little bit, because they didn't have like the principled stance to stick their feet in the ground and say, fuck my audience, fuck my income. This is not, one, this isn't what I want to be doing. Two, I'm basically either morally neutral or morally negative on society. So I'm actually going to step back. I'm going to torch everything that I had, and I'm going to move on. And they still, they kind of still had that same question. Like, would I be more successful if I had never stepped back? But I think the more important thing is like, dude, we're all going to die in the next 50 years. I think you need to be able to look yourself in the fucking mirror. I think that's more important than any material success.
So that's the thing I will die happy with, is that I'll never ask myself, it's like, did I go against my values to do, something because it was enriching me or whatever. When I decided I was going to yeet people or I was going to change up my thing, I do it, and I don't look back on it to a large degree. And so for me, like, that's one of those things I'm really am proud of myself. It's just one of those deals where there's definitely some levels where I'm just like, should I have stuck that out a little bit longer? Maybe something would have changed. And it's always just that what if question that eats you inside. Or at least always has for me. What's up?
Just get the feminist planner that I have.
Yeah. The girl boss CEO planner. Yeah.
I've been thinking because I want to get some sponsorships, right? Because money's really nice. Mm-hmm. And I want to talk to the people who made my planner and see if
Nice.
Nice. Audi, if you're listening, please send me the parts for my R8.
Okay. Because the only problem I might face is that most of my audience is technically, at least my audience that I saw with the analytics on YouTube, is technically male, and the planners are very female focused, right? But I still think you should get the planner that I have. It's very, very helpful. It sounds really corny.
Let's talk about it after the show.
You have at least a couple of femboys in your audience, so I'm sure you'll sell at least a few. So like you'll be all right.
Connor,
I'll just tell the boys that they'll get laid if they have this.
Connor, Connor can back me up on this. In the military, we have things just like planners too. We always kept them in our fucking right or left arm pocket. Okay. And if we ever caught without them, they were pretty much a sensitive item for like a long time. It didn't matter who you were. You had a field notes notepad here, and a pen always on your uniform. And then leaders had what we call the green books. Remember those, Connor? Mm-hmm. These green books that were hardcover, and we had cases for them. They're also called like leader books and shit like that. But yeah, no, planners are great. Now, do you think that you advocating for everybody getting a planner could be considered toxic femininity?
God.
What a great segue! Like,
segues are weird. Fuck that. Let's just dive right in.
Hold on, before you get there, I want to finish off.
God.
I want to finish. I don't care. I didn't talk hardly the last episode at all, so bite me.
Because you had nothing of value to say.
True.
I didn't have anything of value. Do you know how hard it was to just try to butt in between those two? Holy fuck.
Okay.
And that's fine. That's such a sign of maturity, is when you step back for people who have something to actually say. I didn't have anything to say.
Better than me? You think you're better than me?
I am better than you. Kiss my ass. I want to talk about friends for a second. This is a big
lie you.
True, you can, and that's fine. And I will be your slave forever.
Anyway, you dork. No, don't say that. No.
Please buy me.
All right, real talk. I want to hit this one because this is a big one that's actually hit me a lot recently, particularly with my vacation visiting Connor, and we can get in this. But I want to close out the friendship part, and that is, I've had some real issues with friends throughout most of my life. I've got some really good folks that have been in my life that I really miss, but they're few and far between. And there was entire times in my life where I just didn't have one that I would really consider a friend. And I'm not talking to like just somebody who's an acquaintance. I'm talking to a legitimate friend who actually, can know when your freaking birthday is or what your favorite color is. Like actually things that you have to spend some time to know somebody for. And one of the big things that I've noticed about people versus me is that I'm really particular about who I'm going to call a friend, who I'm going to let in my circle. And I pay a price for that. I'm lonely. But on the other side of that, one of the things that I've seen, and I've got a family member who does very badly with this, is that they let anyone in. And they let anyone influence them that is going to be in their, just in their general circle. And that's scary as shit, because I've seen what that has done to me, and I've seen what that does to people in general, is that be careful who your friends are. Because there's some wonderful people out there that will pull you up and they will make you better. And I've got two of them here right now with Sam and Connor, and then I hope Eris can be one of them. But on the other hand,
Tiberius, I see.
She won't be friends with you until you get the planner. You have to get the planner before you're in the circle.
You gotta buy the planner first.
No, like, I mean, I'm sorry, but I gatekeep. Like, I will, because I have had people tear me down from the inside. I've had friends that really never should have been friends. And that's something that I really want to talk about, because be careful who your friends are, because your friends sometimes aren't really your friends.
Yep. I learned that as I got into streaming. Like, I have the exact opposite problem. I have a positive bias with everyone. So when I meet someone, it's like someone could be super mean to me. Like there's someone in the panel circles that, like, whenever I'm around, she's always like saying mean things to me and always like saying these terrible things to me.
Samantha.
And I still can't help. No, it's not Samantha. And I still can't help but like her. Right, like, and she's not joking, like, she like genuinely hates me, right? But I still really like her. So I have the exact opposite problem. Like, I like everyone, and I take people in way too quickly, and yeah, it bites me in the ass like all the time.
I can definitely understand that, because there is a level where I'm like jaded and I'm bitter towards people, but my natural instinct is to be trusting of people. And I guess it's kind of like a self-reflection thing. I try to be honest with people where I can be, because I want people to be the same to me. And sometimes that bites me in the ass, because I'm trusting to the point of naivete to some points, where somebody will just tell me something like, oh, all right, cool. You were in Iraq and Afghanistan. And then, they're literally a person that never got off the fucking boat.
Well, okay, so I kind of want to tell you guys my philosophy, and I'm not saying that this will work. And as a matter of fact, I'm saying I've been torched with this line of reasoning plenty of times. But basically, what I would say, the better way to be compared to kind of the dynamics that you guys are talking about, either I don't trust enough people or I trust too many people, is basically just always have an open door. That's kind of my thing.
It sounds like a radical centrist opinion.
Oh, God.
It is.
I can't do the open door anymore.
Okay, well, and that's fine, but I just want to explain it to people really quick, because this is not the same as being a doormat. Okay, it's not the same. So if somebody is treating you poorly, then say, hey, you're not treating me with any kind of respect. You're actually taking advantage of my kindness. I am recognizing that fact, and you can go fuck yourself. And if you want to go to that next level, we can go to that next level. But that being said, the hand's always open on my end, basically. And what that basically means is, like, there is opportunity for friendship or friendly acquaintance on my end at all times, but you got to come correct. So if you're gonna be a fucking douche nozzle to me, you're gonna attack me, you're gonna fucking interpersonally fuck with me. So if Doobie's in chat, like, Doobie, you kind of push the line a few bits or whatever, a few times where I was like, fuck this motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, what I would say is, once you get to that level of like reciprocity, yeah, once you get to that level of like reciprocity and like friendly respect or whatever, you can at least be a friendly acquaintance, right? And that's the other thing, is like knowing who should just be an acquaintance, knowing who should be a friend, knowing who should be a good friend. And then this is my thing, is even though I have really good friends, I am always expecting them to disappoint me. Always. Like nobody's gonna remember my birthday. Nobody gives a shit what my favorite color is. Basically,
Blue.
like, it is. Oh, thanks, Eris. But
I'm just good at reading this shit.
Yeah, I know. I mean, literally purple, blue. Yeah, it's fucking blue. So, no, but it's like, but basically, it's like, categorize your people. Don't let them in too deep. Keep the door open, but also be ready to say fuck you. That would be my summary.
So This is, you know, one of those wonderful conversations in like human duality, and this is where I kind of get stuck, where I'm either one way or the other, and I can't do like the middle ground. Is that I'm really bad about like, all right, cool, I'm going to be the open door and I'm going to let people in, but then when they're actually part of the community, you feel like you have an obligation to them, even if they kind of do you wrong. And I just, there's something in me that can't turn that off. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's manners, learn mannerisms, whatever, but it's either I do that or I fall into. God damn it, Connor. I fall into.
I'm very sorry.
Yeah, I fall into the opposite, where it's just like, look, I'm going to keep you at arm's length until you have earned my respect, until you have earned your way into my community, and then I will treat you like a brother. And I work far better with the second.
Okay, then, I mean, everybody's different, so
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say that, like, what works for me is going to work for anybody else. But what I would say that we have lost, I don't even think anybody knows the power of this word. The power of no. Okay? Somebody asks you to do something, and you think to yourself, that's incredibly inconvenient, it's kind of a pain in the ass, it's not fair, this, that, the other, I'm not legally obligated to do it, it's not going to impact my finances. I'm sorry, but the answer is no. And like, I'm not a no person, I'm a very much a yes person. Like, if I can help you, I want to help you. But at the same time, there are people who will just constantly ask without reciprocation, and when you ask, they'll come up with excuses for why they can't help you, and that's not a healthy relationship to be constantly giving and never receiving. So that's where I would say is, as Americans, I think because we live in a consumer economy, because we live in a customer service economy, we're basically trained since birth to never say no.
We live in an economy.
We live in a society.
I am saying learn the power of no and relish when you have the opportunity to say no, because when you're a young person, oftentimes you don't even have the opportunity to say no. So when you can, enjoy it.
So now that I've finished my particular tangent back on the friendship, we can return it to where Sam was going to take it back to toxic femininity.
Took long enough. I can't make another segue like that because this is fucking dipshittery.
Oh wow!
I'm just kidding. But no. Like seriously, like we don't have a lot of time yet. So I want to hear Eris the fuck out. So Eris, I want to hear you speak as much as you can, and I've seen your streams and you can talk a lot.
Whoa.
I've heard you on edibles. You can talk for fucking ever. It's great.
I'm sorry
no, but what are your thoughts? I know recently, and just as I say when I addressed some things last week, we're not naming names. This isn't a fucking drama show. This isn't a call-out show. Go back to normal Twitch politics for that kind of bullshit. But there was someone accusing you of like toxic femininity. And I want to know your thoughts on what the fuck. Because I'm going to be real. I think that toxic femininity is a thing. I know ways I've experienced it, but I want to get your take on what you think is toxic femininity and how it applies in kind of like modern day, or how it's used or abused.
Okay, I guess I haven't thought too much about it. I hadn't thought too much about it until I got called that, because that was the first time I've been accused of toxic femininity, I guess. And my instinctual reaction was to be like, sounds fucking sexist and like femphobic and stuff, right? And I feel like I still have that opinion. I know the term was kind of popularized by Jordan Peterson himself. And his description of toxic femininity was very different than the way it was used against me, right? Because it was used against me by someone that's a leftist. So they're not going to use it in the same way that Jordan Peterson uses it. So it feels like it's a term that's kind of meaningless, that is just a collection of a bunch of traits that you've deemed like feminine or something, and as a way to just kind of like demean someone who happens to be a woman, and then just make it sound kind of fancy.
Do you think they use that in that way towards you just because they are trans and you are cis, so they thought it would be more offensive if they used that, or like I don't know. I don't think that factored into it. Like, okay, that was just a thing I was wondering, because we were all watching that together, and I mean I've never heard it used like that. It's not something I would ever use at somebody. Like if somebody I think is just being an asshole, just like you're being a fucking asshole. I'm not going to use these weird fucking conjugated words that have no real meaning pertaining to what I'm experiencing from that other person, right?
Well, yeah, I guess like the only way, like if I were to think that toxic femininity means anything, like the most rational definition I could give it in my head.
I'm sorry for interrupting, but basically, is one of you like folding origami or some shit? Like, what the fuck?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's my.
Okay,
Yeah,
because I was like, that's incredibly rude. Fucking Eris is talking right now. Who is folding origami?
It's Eris.
I didn't realize you guys could hear that. My
Go back to your Warhammer figure.
It's very. Hey, listen, it's very quiet. Okay.
What are you painting? Real quick. Real quick for chat for people listening. What are you painting right now? What is it?
All right. So, sorry, Eris. I'll try to shut up as quickly as possible, but I'm gonna bring this close. So what I did is I took. I'm doing a Death Watch army, but I took the Custodes jet bikes. I put a basically like Dark Angel's fucking helmet on and weapons and all that kind of stuff. Yep, kit bashing. And then I put on winged hussar wings. So if you are unaware of the winged hussars, they're Polish cavalry. They literally wore wings like this into battle. They're completely some of the coolest shit I've ever seen in my entire life. They had muskets, they had sabers, they had big fucking wings on the back, and they were involved in the largest cavalry charge in all of human history. And now I want to hear what Eris has to say.
What I was saying was, I guess like if I could think of like the most charitable interpretation of what toxic femininity could be, is I guess shaming another woman for not being as stereotypically feminine, right? Whether that woman is trans, whether that woman is a woman of color, or like anything, like and that stuff happens a lot between women. I mean, I guess men could do that too, right? But just in general, I mean, women all the time.
Jordan Peter, I can say his name.
Yeah.
Didn't JBP's definition of it kind of go more towards women using their femininity in order to achieve, or demean
that
people?
Wasn't his definition.
I thought that was during
like
the discussion with
like
the feminists. I think he used in that way.
Maybe. I guess the definition I took out of it was like, it's like a mean girl thing. It's like the kind of it's the kind of like mean girl bullying that happened to most girls when they were in like middle school, high school.
Wait, so you're saying that bullies are the people that are using toxic femininity, and the person that was wouldn't that make the person who told you were using toxic femininity be the actual toxic wow, hold on, go ahead.
Yeah,
keep going. My brain's fucking exploding. Hold on,
right there. Yeah. That's why like it was so ironic for it to be like it's, to me, throwing it at someone saying that because they're, I guess, quote unquote sweet, or they're shy, or like, I mean, I don't know, or I guess exemplifying some feminine traits like that apparently I have, that's toxic because I'm using it as like a way to be manipulative. That feels actually like a very sexist attitude.
Wait, was that the accusation?
Yeah.
The accusation was that your personality was toxic because you like showed
I weaponized
feminine
kindness. That was the wording. I weaponized my kindness.
Wow.
As a way to manipulate people.
Damn.
Like you can't win because like
Eris
was there. So Eris is having that used against her for being or for having feminine traits and being nice, right? And Eris has been there when I've been called up by women for being too violent, vitriolic. So like if you're too nice,
women you can't win.
Yeah, like I can't win. Like I'm nice, I'm gonna be like accused like Eris, and then I'm me, or basically I am me. And then after a panel, 9 people want to say, well, you're harmful to the trans community because look at how you talk to people. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I thought we were like varying humans that are all like different from each other. And there's bound to be a trans person who says like, no, I'm not going to sit there and cry because you called me a tranny. I'm going to do something about it. And you're going to lie on the floor crying for the next 3 hours. Maybe or maybe not in a pool of your own fucking blood.
And the thing is that, I mean, to say that I have some internalized misogyny, I mean, I'm sure I do. Like, for sure. You can't escape this world without like some kind of internal hate and society affecting you. So I'm sure like if I'm very feminine in some ways, I guess as she was accusing me of. Like, I'm sure that has to do with some kind of like societal pressure or whatever. It's hard to know because as a woman, you get pulled in so many ways. On one hand, you're told that you're only going to achieve anything if you become like a man. But on the other
But
hand,
don't go too far.
yeah, like, because like corporate style feminism, like lean in type of thing. And then on the other hand, you're told that you can't be aggressive or mean, or like you just look at the way someone like Hillary Clinton got treated when she said anything somewhat like aggressive.
This is.
But
Oh,
yeah.
sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no. I think just like the way it was leveled at me, that's why the term is really meaningless to me, because it has so many different definitions, and it doesn't come from an academic form of thought. It's just like being something that people have levied around, kind of as like reactionaries. And we're all reactionary in a little way. It doesn't actually come from like any kind of theory, the way, say, like, I mean, even though I disagree with a lot of aspects of the way toxic masculinity is used by like, your average layman, not layman himself, but but that does come from like, that is like a real theory, but there's no like actual theory. Like I can't like look up, like any like academic papers or from scholars or something on like toxic femininity. So yeah, so it's very like confusing.
Yeah, so I think this is really cool because I think I can talk to hopefully some righties in the audience and then talk about like a way in which males are privileged. I'm going for the centrist thing, okay?
Stop that
so
shit.
Basically, oh, it's gonna happen. So basically, like this is where this is a double-edged sword, okay? Because I'm actually throwing my elbows out in a different direction too while I'm saying this. One of the really nice things about being a guy is I don't have to worry about when I'm being rude. I don't. Like, I need to be tactful. I can't obviously walk up to my boss and tell him to go fuck himself. That's not gonna fly. I'll get shit canned just like anybody else. But at the same time, if I'm being assertive with my opinion and I believe my opinion is correct, nobody's gonna judge me for that. If anything, they're gonna see that as a positive attribute that's a part of my personality. That's me fulfilling the stereotypes of masculinity. Same thing with like joining the military, becoming a cop, like all that kind of stuff. These are all stereotypical exhibitions of my gender that nobody's going to give me shit for. So basically, I'm not going to get punished for doing the stereotypical thing.
Whereas I'm literally punished by the community for doing all those same things.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then to flip this really quick, the consequences that I pay for doing things that are not stereotypically masculine, I'm open about my feelings. I paint fucking Warhammer shit. I know that's still a dude thing, but it's a nerdy dude thing. The social consequences that I pay for that are very minimal. It's like, hey, you're a fucking nerd. And because I've been taught to be aggressive, rude, assertive, all that kind of stuff, I can take that right on the chin because that's part of like my emotional wheelbox. Somebody calls me a pussy or a piece of shit, that's part of being a guy. So if somebody doesn't like the fact that I paint little nerdy fucking Wing Tassar fucking 40th millennium fucking sci-fi soldier models, they can go fuck themselves, and I'll tell that to their face, and nobody will fucking judge me. They might judge me for painting Warhammer models, but they'll have no fucking beef with me basically like saying you can go fuck yourself if you don't think that my hobbies are interesting or worthy of public promotion. Eat a dick, and nobody's gonna judge me.
I actually felt the way when I first kind of entered the Twitch politics sphere and panels and stuff, I thought the way I got treated was a little sexist. Like, especially like, and honestly, like it was mostly by other women. Especially on, I guess, on the Amazon Lily panel, I got called a debate bro a bunch, which like I don't think I'm a debate bro, but I guess it was like, it was treated. It was just when a woman was like speaking in a more assertive way, bringing up like demanding sources or demanding backing up arguments or something like that, that wasn't, I guess, that wasn't considered cool. No,
it's really cool when guys do it, Eris. That's kind of what.
Or like just people in general are more sensitive to it, and I know that, like, honestly, I'm more sensitive to it. I remember when I was on a panel, I think with you, Connor Points, and then and I was on with Demon Mama, Vosh, like it was a few people, and a few people talked down to me, but for some reason it was when Demon Mama talked down to me that it hurt the most, right? So it's like, it's something that like I actually in my head, and I realized after when I had my interview with Demon Mom and we had a talk, I was like, so many people had talked down to me, but it only really bothered me when it was like another woman. It's like that was like some internalized misogyny shit, where I was like, you know, more mad at the other woman in the room.
Well,
So
do you feel
that's
that it was because she talked down to you, or because that like women are taught like that we have to stay together to fight these oppressive men?
No, I think I actually think it's just a subconscious, like human beings are all, we just learn with what we're used to. And I'm not used to women talking in a very assertive tone. And even
That's very
when I
Demon
do it,
Mama.
I'm not used to it. So it always just throws you off a little. And that's why like you have to, even if you're not, people always think sexism is like, oh, I hate women, or I think women are below men. It's not like that. It's much more subconscious. So you always have to kind of be examining like, you know, why, you know, what are your preconceived biases, and like why am I just automatically more upset when this person says it like this? Like why did it bother me more? And so that's kind of like what I realized after that.
Well, I want to say, if I've ever made you feel that way on an Amazon Lily panel or any debate or discussion we have, not my intention, but like, suck it up.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
I was
it's
waiting for it.
me like right away, and he said this sweet thing. And when someone says something nice to me, it's like, you know, my toxic femininity, it just takes over. Okay?
Oh, okay, yeah, I forgot
like
about
a sense
that.
of nurturing, and I'm just like, oh my god, she was nice to me.
I do that. So
I
if
love
anybody
her.
does it, for everybody that doesn't know,
World.
for everybody that doesn't know, when I go hard at people on debates, this is Mask Off. 90% of the time I'm on a panel, I'm playing a character. That's not the real me. Everybody here, Tiberius especially, and Eris both know the very like real me. I'm very calm, cool, reserved. Yes, I still use violent metaphors and rhetoric. That's stuff that has been programmed in my head by the United States Army for 13 and a half years. That's not going anywhere. However, when I'm going off on people on a panel, at the same time, I am private messaging them saying, please don't take any of this personal. Like, it's just, I'm attacking your opinion. Like, love you. You're doing great. Keep up the great work. You're doing wonderful. Meanwhile, in real time, I'm screaming, you fucking moron, you piece of fucking shit cunt. Your opinions are worthless. You're worthless. Everything about your entire life is worthless. You've accomplished nothing. You're going nowhere. But in DMs, I'm like, you're doing great, lovely. I love you. You're great. I'd love to. Can I add you as a friend? Let's play games together.
I've never gotten these private messages. You just called me a piece of shit. What the fuck?
Connor, see, but Connor, to your face, on and off screen, I have said, like, I fucking love Connor. Is one of my favorite people in this entire community. I have said I love you flat out. You're here. I wanted to do when I put together this podcast idea. The only two people that ever came to mind in this space was you first, and then Tiberius. Sorry, Tiberius, but Connor is prettier than you.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry. Connor was prettier than you. He got rid of the beard.
It's coming back. Don't worry. It's coming back. It's coming back. Don't worry. I will win you back.
But yeah, no. So like. I have said that I play a character. So what she was saying, I did say wonderful things about her, but in real time I was calling her a fucking turf, and an anti-sex worker, and about 9 other things, and I think I legit called her a cunt.
Nice.
So
okay. So,
hey,
yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, bud.
I'll appreciate it. This is a quick one. So I just did grocery shopping about an hour and a half ago, and I was in Walmart, and this little kid was staring at me. And just to emphasize your point here, Samantha, I literally looked. He's just staring at me, and I'm like, yes, I know I'm funny, and I'm funny looking, and he starts laughing. So yeah, like I get it.
That little bastard! You're not supposed to laugh. What the fuck?
It's so different because if I were to face that from a kid, I would stare that kid and his mother in the eye and be like, you know what, fuck you, kid. I don't give a fuck. Fight me. Like I would literally egg on a fight, and then when the mom says something, I will take your mom in the parking lot and fucking handle this. Fuck you,
all
kid.
Right,
You disrespectful little shit.
I think this explains some things, but all right. So I want to explain this though, just so if people catch me in a panel in the future or whatever, but I am not playing a character. Like every single thing that I'm saying is exactly what I'm thinking, which maybe that's a character. And then when I'm upset, like I'm typically like not. I don't try to take like my emotional frustrations like personally, like so for instance, if somebody in this room or somebody in another room upsets me, like my friends upset me, my family upset me, Like, I yell at everybody I love all of the time. So just because I yell at you doesn't mean that I don't like you. It just means that what you said, I think, is incredibly stupid. And
Okay,
one of the
Dad.
things, yeah, literally, yeah, actually. And then one of the
Just
things
because
that
I yell at you, just because I spanked you with the belt doesn't mean I don't love you. It means I love you more.
yes,
I don't want you to do these things again.
yes,
You fucking shitbag. Now,
I
the
wanna-
second you turn 16, you're out of the fucking house, you shit.
yes. Okay. Yes to all of the. I'm gonna say all of these things to my son verbatim, by the way. But when he's old enough to understand them. But that's also the other thing that I wanted to say, that sometimes this is like regional or cultural. Maddie Cakes frustrates the ever-living piss out of me. Sometimes her perspectives are incredibly frustrating to the point that I'm like about to burst a blood vessel in my fucking brain. But at the same time, like women who throw elbows, women who are incapable of being in the room and then like fucking fuck you, this is my opinion, fuck you, this is my opinion. That's my family. That's where I come from. Like, everybody's fucking Irish, everybody gets drunk, everybody talks shit, everybody comes at everybody, and it's not because we don't love each other, it's because we do. So
My family is the exact opposite.
yeah, that's weird to me, because my wife is the same way, where she would rather take like an emotional dispute, bottle it for 3 years until it explodes into a big issue, and then we have the fight. Whereas I'm like, we have a problem right now, let's fight about it right now so we can get it done. And it's just
I can't handle
weird...
people yelling at me. Like,
Yeah,
I cannot
it's a
handle
very
people
weird
yelling at me
Wait,
whatsoever.
speaking of Connor yelling at people, did you threaten to put a broom handle up Doobie's ass?
Yes, I did.
That was the first
Repeatedly.
Connor, and I immediately liked him because of that.
You know what? That's amazing, and that is one of the top 5 most based opinions you've ever had, is shoving a broom handle
Okay,
up Doobie's ass.
I agree. I agree with that. But basically, Doobie was being a fucking asshole, and because I'm trying to appease lefties and progressives or whatever, like, normally I have a whole bunch of slurs in my vocabulary. Like, R slur is like one of my favorite words in the entire world. It just is. Oh my god! Like I miss it. Like, I miss that the way I miss smoking cigarettes. Okay.
You miss the 90s, don't you?
Yes, I miss the 90s. I miss the thousands. They were more free days. But because I don't want to offend anybody, like Samantha Banana doesn't give a fuck about, I can't use the R slur anymore. So I was literally trying to think, like, Doobie's making me so fucking angry right now. What can I even say? And then shoving a broom up his ass was just the first thing that came out.
And there you made it into the history books.
Congratulations.
And now it's
I've
an
toned it
emote
down
in
into
my
I hope you
Discord.
I've toned it down into what do I say on Primes? I hope you step on a fucking Lego. Because that is the most violent thing I can think of. Like,
Yeah.
I've been shot, I've been
That's
shot,
actually rough.
I've been stabbed, and literally until I've had my kid, I've experienced no pain greater than the shit he leaves on my bedroom floor.
I mean, Legos.
You
yeah.
ever wake up and you're like, how did this puzzle piece get into my ass crack? And then you pick up the blanket off the bed and you're like, oh, there's an entire fucking puzzle in my sheets. What the fuck?
That I fell asleep on top of. Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, shit like that happens. Absolutely. Yeah.
You're not making me very excited to be a parent.
It's incredible. It's total
okay. There's
total
ups and
pain
downs.
in the ass.
It's worth.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been on these since I've been on like big ass mods since they came out with vapes, right? My son used to wake me up. So like, wife worked overnight shift baking. I was at home during the day. I slept because my son was one that couldn't sleep unless being moved. So I had to stay up all night, every night, making sure he stayed asleep so they can get sleep and go at 2 a.m. So I had to rock him and keep him up all night. So he would stay asleep so that the people baking, which is the entire rest of the household, could go bake and sleep and get their shift, right? So during the day, I would sleep. Well, he wanted a bottle. And for a while, to wake me up, he would just hit me in the face with a bottle and just be like, before he could speak, right? Now he's wonderful. But like, before he could speak, he just hit me in the face with a bottle. I'm like, yeah, okay, shit. At one point, he grabbed my vape because he couldn't get his bottle because he dropped it to a place he couldn't get it. So he grabs my metal mod that has 2 18650 lithium ion batteries in it and just fucking bam right in the eye. Fucking big old bruised eye socket right here. Fucking like probably cracked my fucking orbital bone. And I'm just and like parenting and like you're not even mad. You're just like fuck, what? Okay. Where's your bottle?
Good hit.
My brother once broke my dad's ribs by like my dad would do this thing where he would have us like walk on his back when we were kids, and we thought it was so much fun, but obviously we were being used, right?
I do the same thing with
like,
my child. I have him do that.
But
He
yeah,
just
so
did
like
some pyro shit.
when I walked on my dad's back, like I was so careful because I'm a really nice daughter. Like I just made sure to do like the right thing, like what I was supposed to do, and don't jump too hard. A really good idea to do like a full jump. And he broke my dad's like ribs like completely. It was a disaster.
Oh man.
So yeah, be careful.
So my son is 6. We got boxing gloves recently for him.
Nice.
So my brother has a kid just the same age, and they like to play fight. Now they're funny because like they'll look at each other funny and then cry, and somebody will come and tell them, oh, he's looking at me, blah blah whatever, right? They will be in the other room, and it's like I get a call from my brother after we leave, and he's like, yeah, my son has a black eye, and I'm like, oh, are you fucking mad at me, bitch? Like, and he goes, no, the funny thing is, he's like, yeah, you gotta, whatever, the boys are gonna do boy shit, whatever. Like, this is out in the country where me and my brother grew up. I've pulled a gun on my brother. My wife has had to watch us literally box in the kitchen, just flat out box. I don't remember what happened. This is when I first started hormones and learned about like mood shifts. So I come home from work, he says something to me, I immediately start crying, throw all the cabbage at him from cooking, throw a couple of knives, and then we start boxing in the kitchen. And then he's like, he's not going to hit me, so he just puts me in a bear hug and says, what's wrong? And I start crying for like a half an hour about how my boss is a dick. But like, so she's
I like your brother now.
So like, so we're my brother's name is literally Mad Dog. So he calls me that his son has a black eye. He's like, no, I'm just like, I'm surprised that nobody came running to us. And apparently they've been play fighting ninja in the room for 2 hours. That's why we thought they were behaving so well and not, crying about everything. So we get them boxing gloves so they can just go in the room and fucking go at it with each other for like 2 hours. And they're the fucking happiest kids ever. Now,
Toxic
once my son got
masculinity.
those boxing gloves, here's some fucking parenting win right here, right? My son wanted to know what it's like to take a hit. So I grabbed my MMA gloves because I still have my shit from the army. Because you keep a pair of gloves for combatives. And so I let him hit me full force in the face, and he wants like hit me. And I'm like, what? Like, hit me. I'm like, go a little harder. No, like really hit me. And I'm like, all right, dude. And I fucking just knocked this kid back like 11 feet across the room. Felt like I went Super Saiyan. Kid gets right back up, grabs like this fucking like big ass fucking fake sword that we have, and just domes me when I'm not looking, right in the fucking face. He's like, don't hit me again like that. I'm telling mama. And I'm like, you fucking bitch.
Okay.
This is
Samantha,
parenting.
I think
it's wonderful.
I think we have to keep the crimes that you confess to on stream to like misdemeanors. Okay, like we gotta keep it under the felony bar.
There was no marks proven in court.
Okay, all right. Anyways,
They had the video confession.
Can I get some? Yeah, no, I learned that shit in the army. You put the oranges in the sock when you go hit somebody.
Oh Christ! All right. So moving away from child
not the
abuse.
padlocks, the oranges. I don't know.
Okay.
He asked. He wanted to know what it was like, because he was actually afraid of being hit at school, because apparently the principal's kid was bullying him. So I let him know that, and then that's how it segued into like the principal's kid was bullying my son.
Okay, just to be clear, there is no judgment on my end. I am absolutely like going to be sticking my karate is like a pussy martial art, right? But I will absolutely be sticking my kid in some form of martial arts.
BJJ.
Yeah, the second he's old enough and I can afford it, he's going into some kind of martial arts. So yeah.
I'm doing the same thing as my son is getting more and more like we're rubbing off on him. So I'm pretty flamboyantly, or like queer. Like I'm very open about my gayness. I'm not using it in a negative connotation.
Are you just
I'm
trying
not
to get Tiberius banned?
No,
Is that,
I'm
like,
not
what's
using
going
it.
on?
No, I'm not using it at anybody. I'm not using it in a derogatory way. Like that's what I am. In the Bay Area, this is how we like identify. This is what we say. Twitch's TOS is not something I violate. But like this is how we act. And like my son's getting to the point we take him shopping for clothes and he'll go buy like the purple fucking sequin jacket. And like I have to explain to him, like you heard this, like I have to explain to him why he can't wear it to school. And I'm like, I'm afraid, like he wants to express himself. He like stresses from time to time, but he knows he wants to be a boy. And I'm like going like, these are great, wonderful things for breaking down the gender stereotypes. But dude, if you do this at school, someone's gonna beat your ass. Like,
San Francisco?
Yeah, Bay Area is still not like the friendliest place. I'm not gonna lie. Mind you, okay, his school. Let me clarify why I'm scared. 90% of the students in his school are military kids. This is like it's a like pretty much a post school.
Yeah, so it'll still be more conservative than the actual Bay Area.
Highly, like 90% of the vehicles there still have like a either "fuck Biden" sticker or a Trump 2020 sticker still on it.
In San Francisco, that's impressive.
Yeah, I'm surprised our windows are still in one piece. I remember having like the entire I had a giant sticker across the back of my window that was the American flag, but the American flag was 9-line sticker, the Pledge of Allegiance. And I remember being afraid of parking that anywhere and having my window smashed in for it.
Yeah.
I excuse me, there, just reminder, there's 5 million Republicans in California. Most people forget that that's a thing.
What's your population?
Not in
Third,
the Bay.
or
Like
40
the
million?
Bay Area is very minimal
exactly.
on that.
Yeah, I know.
The Bay Area is very minimal. Most of the conservatives you're going to find up in way northern California, pretty much Oregon, out in the country. No, like not even trying to.
No, I know, I know. You're right.
Yeah, Roseville, Sacramento, and up, like Oroville and stuff, where the dams are and the big like majority non-corporate farmland. That's where they pretty much all are, hoarding all the guns and buying all the ammo.
Well, we're coming up on time. Do we want to hit any particular like small thing that we want to do, or do we want to start wrapping up?
I guess I think that when it comes to toxic femininity in general, and toxic masculinity, first of all, I don't think those two ideas have equal weight. I think, like, even though I still disagree with a lot of aspects of toxic masculinity, I don't know. I don't think toxic femininity should be a thing that people use in their day-to-day life. I haven't heard a good argument for it. If you don't like a quality or you think someone did something, just talk about that quality, like, specifically. Or just say you don't think that person, that you don't think it's cool what they did. That the person who accused me of toxic femininity could have made her entire point without, like, just insulting random qualities about me that, like, I can't even help. Right. And even if, like, you do buy the idea that I've, like, internalized this misogyny, it's like, why would you give someone shit for something that they can't kind of control? It just seems kind of shitty. And on top of that, you're also speaking in an environment where, like, women who are feminine, or just people in general who are feminine, have always been kind of demeaned. Like, their work has been demeaned, like motherhood, even the fact when I made this planner and I started doing, like, vision boards and all this shit, like, everyone fucking made fun of me, right? Like, all that shit, because it's like all these, when I mentioned that I listen to Taylor Swift, even when I, like, ask a random, like, guitarist or something to play Taylor Swift for me, or they find out that I play that, they're like, there's so many things that are associated with what, like, women like, that just get demeaned or assumed to be, like, low quality. And so many girls feel, like, pressure to, like, kind of hide what they really like and to take on and to be, like, the cool girl and, like, take on the things that guys like, all the time. And that's totally fine if that's genuine. But yeah, like, it's just, we just shouldn't be shaming femininity because whether or not it's forced on us by the patriarchy, like, regardless of your politics, there are some good aspects to being feminine. Weaponizing kindness, that sounds like a really nice weapon. I don't know, like, being
alternative.
Yeah, like, or being nurturing, right? Being empathetic towards people. There's so many qualities like that. There's so many great qualities about being feminine that you don't need to just, like, throw the baby out with the bathwater and automatically see it as, like, this negative thing. And I just think it's shitty in general. As much as I encourage, women and myself, like, to take on more positive masculine traits, like being courageous and disciplined and stuff, like, everyone should be taking on a few more feminine traits. Like, the world needs a bit more empathy. So I don't think we should be shaming it in general. And yeah, I just don't see it as a useful term.
That last comment I really would like to hit on, because there's certain levels where I think the world needs a lot more empathy, and there's certain levels where I think the world needs a lot more fuck no.
Mm-hmm.
Which we kind of talked about earlier with the power of no. So, I don't want to have to completely dish it.
Yeah, you got to know when to use both. And, like, I wouldn't mind doing a little closing summary too. I'm very appreciative of these kinds of conversations, because oftentimes if we're in like a lefty space, you start talking about like toxic femininity, and they're like, oh, you're just trying to distract from toxic masculinity, or you know, bringing up like guys' problems. The disposability of men was one that I think we all talked about earlier. You know, bringing up, oh, you're just an MRA, you're just this, you're just that. So we don't even get to have like a voicing of opinions when it comes to these issues. And then not just that, but like I would encourage righties, because basically I think this is fair to say, lefties tend to drive culture. I just think they do. I think in our modern society they do. A lot of them are creative, a lot of them are involved in creative industry, a lot of them are in Hollywood, a lot of them are in New York, a lot of them are in Atlanta, and they're driving our culture in a certain direction. So it behooves the right to understand the terms that are being talked about, toxic masculinity, toxic femininity, and to come up with good faith criticisms of competing ideologies and competing personas that are valid. So for instance, I think one of the points of feminism was to give women the choice to become the kind of people that they wanted to become. If you want to open up some traditionally masculine virtues so more women can exercise those virtues publicly without fear of shame or reprisal, that's great. But part of that is also these stereotypically feminine virtues still being virtues and worthy of applauding. So if somebody is kind or nice or empathetic or nurturing, we still need those people in our society. Just because we're telling people you can break the mold doesn't mean that the design within the mold itself is worthy of destruction. The point is to free people, not to destroy every positive virtue that was previously associated with a certain like a social paradigm. So yeah, that would be my closing.
Actually, I went through that journey. Like I've been going through that journey myself, like throughout my 20s. And when I kind of redid, I recently, before I got into streaming, like, and when the new year came, I made like this whole plan of how I was gonna, you know, be my new self, or be the self that I always wanted, and all of this stuff, all that corny stuff. That's why I got my planner and everything. And a lot of that was about embracing feminine traits that I'd kind of shame myself out of having, you know, in order to feel cool, or to feel worthy, or to feel intelligent, or to feel different. And like for example, like I've been a gamer my whole life, so I created like this whole like gaming section in my house, where it was like filled with like RGB lighting, and it was like all like its heads like black and crazy like lights and stuff, like, and it looked like something out of like sci-fi, like every gamer dude's dream, and I was always like proud, like showing it to everyone. And honestly, I didn't fucking like the look. Like over time, you know, it just wasn't my thing. I like light colors, and I like pinks, and I like things to look like clean and simple and pretty and feminine and stuff. So like I just went and pinkified everything. I made like, you know, I got like a whole new setup and stuff, and now it looks like total basic bitch Instagram level. Like I'm just totally admitting this shit. Like I literally have a pink mat on my desk, and like I went in like on a waiting list to buy like this white Razer mouse, just because I like the way pink and white look together. Like, you know, I'm just so fucking happy that I'm kind of like pushing that toxic attitude out of my head, that then I'm somehow like lesser or something like that if I accept some feminine traits. And I would encourage everyone to do the same regardless of your gender.
Yeah, I know you guys want to go, but I just want to, guys, gender neutral term. Thank you. So thanks Samantha for yelling at me last time. So fucking no, but
It's
but, like,
ma'am.
so the fucking but the point being, like, I own like 8 t-shirts all in different colors. They don't have a fucking logo. I have one pair of fucking jeans and like one pair of khaki pants that I swap out and fucking wash. That chair would not be there without my fucking wife. The lighting is copying gaming shit. This room would be like, that plant would not be alive if it wasn't for my wife. So what I'm really saying is that aesthetics are important to some people, and I'm just not one of those people. And I think it's cool to like what you like and love what you love, and also to be compatible with other people. So if you have weaknesses, I have a shit ton of weaknesses. I am an insufferable person. but the positives that I have, other people compliment, and being willing to figure out your positives and then finding other people's positives that you can integrate into a community is an incredibly gratifying part of growing up, is knowing what you're good at, knowing what you're bad at, finding people who love you, finding people you love, and letting them make up for your weaknesses, and then using your strengths to help them with their weaknesses. That's an incredible part of
I put my pink feminine setup in chat if anyone wanted to look.
Eris, I wonder whose setup is more pink, yours or mine.
Yeah, we'll have a competition.
Yeah, we'll have to have people vote on it on Twitter. Yeah. The two planner bitches.
Yeah, that's 100% true.
But say, like, I'm gonna say a couple things. One, to anybody in chat who's offended by my terminology that I use, that's how we refer to ourselves in the Bay Area. So sorry if it threw some people off. That's just, I'm just so used to using that word as myself because so many people for such a long time use that word against me in a violent manner. So it's fucking mine now. Fuck you, people. So what I think is great, kind of going back to what Connor said with needing a balance, right, is the more we get closer to, like, I don't want to say like gender abolition as much as I want to say like gender role abolition, the better off we are, because we're going to see more men being comfortable, being empathetic, being in jobs that require more empathy, nurses, teachers, social sciences, you have psychologists, psychiatrists, therapists, that type of things where they're helping people, being very empathetic. Just as in modern times, we're seeing many great women become great infantrymen, great soldiers. There's a lot of women that do great in the military, no matter what their job is. Whereas the military is seen as a very male space, like a very manly thing. It's like, dude, so many women do outstanding in their field of work within any branch. That's a real branch, not including the Air Force or the Coast Guard. And I think we need to make room for more of that. We need to make room for more men willing to become more outwardly empathetic and doing that as a profession. And we need other men to not hold them back. We need to also have women allow other women to be the dominant alpha types or to be more aggressive. People don't like me because I'm aggressive. I'm crass. I'm blunt.
Never call a woman aggressive. Call her assertive.
Fuck
That's
you.
what I've always been told.
I do what I want. I get looked down upon because, I talk a certain way. I use a certain rhetoric. I use certain metaphors, but these are what I know. These are what I enjoy. This is my comfort zone. That's what I'm going to say. If I want to talk about, dropping people with trigger pulls, as my past job, that's my past job. And people have to understand that and fucking get over it. Women can do that no matter if they were born or assigned female at birth. I have a problem with fucking race cars. That's not seen as a very feminine trait, but fuck you. When I pass you on the freeway, you'll think otherwise. Or you'll call me a cunt. My Audi has a giant female-driven sticker right on the back of it just to piss people off. So I think the more we break down these gender roles and these gender norms, the better for the case of terms like toxic masculinity and toxic femininity to just be tossed out the fucking window because they're not going to apply, because we're going to have women covering all spectrums of gender determinant behavior as well as men.
I think we should just start
think
right
that's
now.
a net positive. I think we should. I think I'll be the assertive cunt. Sorry, the abrasive, vitriolic assertive cunt, and I'll balance out the you. We're like two sides of the force, and we need to live in harmony. Okay, so Star Wars, we can learn a lot about Star Wars, right? You have the light side of the force and the dark side of the force, but you need them both to live in harmony. You need to have the balance within the force, and that's what these behaviors are. So these toxic feminine types, these are just the light side of the force, bringing balance to women like me that are the dark side of the force. And and then men, you have like the Vosh people that are the light side of the force. Then you have like the Connor Tiberius types that are definitely the Sith adjacent pieces of shit that are willing to execute Order 66 on others' behalf, just like I did in Afghanistan.
I mean, I get that this is edgy, but I haven't heard anything wrong yet. So.
No, like I'm lightening this up. I have a problem. One of my mental things is I can't cope with trauma without making a fucking joke out of it. So that's why every time I talk about Afghanistan or Iraq, it's very comically done in my head. So I'm laughing about it because I don't want to fucking tear myself apart at night and cry about it like I've done for years. So yeah, I'm gonna make a joke out of fucking trauma because that's my coping mechanism. And fuck you, you're not taking it from me. So yeah, Star Wars. This is how we live life.
So 2 questions, because I'm pretty sure like me and Connor have to balance each other out a little bit because he's always rearing to go. I'm just like,
Darth Tiberius,
calm down a little bit here. We don't need to start this fight. And then sometimes he's keeping me in check. So are you trying to make Eris the 4th wheel here to keep you balanced out?
No, there's nobody. Like, there's legitimately, I don't think anybody that can balance me out except for my wife.
Fair enough.
No, flat out. There's been nobody. Like, all my friends, Mad Dog, my mom, like everybody. My mom fucking hates me. The only person who has ever brought balance to my life and that was able to tame the fucking vicious cunt that I am has been my wife. It has taken some white flag waving Frenchie to like make me realize that I don't want to be a piece of shit anymore.
It's yeah. Now that there's something to be said for basically people being diametrically opposed and balancing each other out. Kind of like I was saying, it's like you have to know your strengths, and your strength might be kicking ass and taking names, and her strength is something else, and you have to play off of each other, and you have to trust the other person too in the dynamic. So
True. She hates guns, she hates violence, she hates confrontation, but one of the things she loves about me the most is she feels safe because I do approve of violence, guns, and these types of things. So like it's kind of a funny balance. She hates firearms being in the house. She hates this type of stuff. She hates my violent rhetoric. But when every time shit hits the fan and there's danger abroad, she loves the fact that like I'm guiding them away from danger while I'm running right towards it. The house caught on fire. I told them all to get the fuck out of the house. This was on fire to the point where you're calling 911 and I'm like, fuck it, y'all get out of the house. I'm running to the kitchen. Hold on. So yeah, my floor's ruined. I had to redo the entire kitchen, and there was like wall damage, and it was really bad. But I ran right towards that motherfucker. There was a dude that just got arrested, who a couple months ago at the bakery had tried to attack me with a chainsaw.
San Francisco, yeah.
Meth, not even once. No joke. This dude tried to attack me.
Not according to you and Pisco last week, you fucking assholes.
Okay, he tried to attack me with a chainsaw. Literally, now he's jailed. Like, there's multiple crazy things out here where people run. I run towards that. And that's what my wife likes about it. And that's what the balance is. She doesn't like confrontation, but when confrontation needs to be had, she knows who the fuck to call, and I'll be right there. Because if there's anything I love more than anything, it's not confrontation, it's my wife, and I'm willing to get into confrontation for her.
No, but that's why it's my favorite quality about you. You go to bat for your friends.
I am the big dumb.
You've done it for me.
What is it?
It means a lot.
What is it we call me in that server? I'm the muscle. I'm the muscle. I'm the head of the Queen's Guard, if you will.
Nice. Based. Well, I do have to jet because I have to shoot some stuff. So do we want to do outros?
Let's do outros.
Shoot some stuff.
He's got
not literally. I need to do a couple of videos.
Oh, sounds like a toxic masculinity.
It is.
2 weeks ago, we were shooting guns out by his house.
Yeah, Tiberius was like, "I'm coming down to Florida. What do you want to do?" And I was like, "You want to shoot guns?" And he was like, "Yes." So that's pretty much
I study guns. Like, I literally study guns for a living, and like, I've never shot a gun in my life.
We're going to have to fix that.
So I would love to do that.
I love how we did that in unison. We're on the same wavelength.
And if you ever want to come to California and play with the stuff that you can't have without an FFL, you're welcome to come out here and play with the big ones.
I don't think she knows what that means. Oh, I'm mansplaining. God damn it.
Hey,
I really want to try an M4.
Okay. I've got like plenty. If you ever want to try something,
you got plenty of M4s? Like, what the fuck?
Yes, I own 27 firearms.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have 2 Liberty safes.
This is why we're friends with Samantha.
See, I'm both Canadian and
if you would ever
cheap.
if you would ever like to fire something where you hold the trigger down and it doesn't stop firing, I've got you on multiple different platforms.
I would basically tell you to go to Samantha, because if you come down here, we're just gonna go to like a trailer out by a farm, and we're just gonna shoot really.
That's what we're gonna do too.
None of my stuff is
Sketchy.
full auto. None of my stuff is full auto. So.
We go to my brother's property out in the middle of nowhere, and there's 158 acres of farm, which Tiberius has heard about. Grow many things there, but we also shoot a lot of things there. We also let our kids roam free, because no matter what, they're never making it to the fence line without being too tired.
Wow.
Then we just roll around on the quads and try to find the kids at the end of the afternoon. They're like, oh, they fell asleep over by the cauliflower, dumbass.
We'll definitely have to talk about relationships at another date, but we are out of time. So Connor, if you want to start it off, feel free to do so.
Yeah, so my name is Connor. I run a YouTube channel named Counterpoints. I do Twitch panel debates. I do Twitch panel shows just like this. I do one-on-ones. I do military war, I do war movie reactions, cop movie reactions. I talk about my experiences in military and law enforcement. And I also do rants into the void. I identify as center-right because I'm a little bit hawkish on American empire and immigration. I am a little bit more redistributive when it comes to taxes, but I'm still a capitalist. So basically, according to Twitch, I'm a fucking Nazi. So that's where I'm at. I'm probably, if you were to talk about like mainstream politics, I'm probably more of a centrist than anything else. But for Twitch, I'm, not a leftist. I'll put it that way. So,
all right,
check us out.
So next we have Eris. Eris, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here.
Thanks. I had a really nice time.
I hope you come back.
Back whenever. Yeah, this is lovely.
If you actually want to counterbalance Sam out a little bit, I'd love to have you as a recurring. So yeah, we'll definitely have to talk about that after the show. But yeah, go ahead and shout yourself out. Anything that you want to say.
I'm Aristocracy. I'm a streamer here on Twitch. I also run Calliope Club. I am mostly a history streamer, but I also do interviews. So if you want to find me, I'm just Aristocracy TV, basically everywhere. Aristocracy is spelled with an E, not an A, right? Though we do support, in my channel, we do support the upper class, oppressing the lower classes. That's like a big theme of my channel. So you should definitely follow me. In terms of politics, I'm not actually very political. So sometimes people call me a centrist, but I feel like that's not true, because I end up on pretty like extreme
constitutional
left,
monarchist,
sometimes right. Yeah, like, so it's just, I just don't care about categories or tribalism and stuff. And sometimes people call me a leftist because I'm just not a bigot. So I don't know. Just no hate, but yeah, so just check me out if you want to learn about history and yeah.
All right, Troublemaker, you're up next.
I'm Samantha Banana 4 on Twitter. I run the official Twitch Politics Discord. I'm not a streamer. Don't sub to me. It's a fucking waste of time. Apart from this podcast, all I really do is run the Twitch Politics server, and I'm trying to build a community. I'm a business owner. I'm a mom. I'm a firearm lover. I've been everything from a fascist right-wing Nazi to a leftist commie scumbag. I describe myself as a libertarian socialist. And I'm also the captain of the Queen's Guard.
And I guess that leaves me.
Guns.
So I guess it leaves me. As far as my politics, I generally identify as some form of right wing. I generally hate the left as a whole, but I do respect liberals. Fuck leftists, though. What do? I do geopolitics, and I stream with Mask Off. This conversation here is that I talk about geopolitical affairs, what's going on in the world, why some countries seem to do far better than others. We talk a little bit about that, and then we do the Mask Off show, which is you can catch wonderful conversations like the one you have now, or you can catch extra bonus content that I'll do every now and again. We just had one with GSU Gambit last night about race, which was just me and him. It was a very interesting conversation. You can check that out on Mask Off with Tiberius D on the YouTube. You can find this podcast where you find pretty much any podcast thereof. Excuse me, I'm losing my mind. But you can definitely check out the Mask Off podcast YouTube channel, and we're going to be branching out into a lot of different things as things come around. I want to thank each and every one of you for being a part of this wonderful conversation, and we're out. Have a good one, guys.
See ya. Bye.
Appreciate y'all.